my camera. I need to turn it. All right. Okay, I think it should be like this, right? Is this better? I'm gonna have to. How do I do this? So how is it now? I don't even know. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's okay. Then what happens with my guys? Hold on. So what happens with my thing? Okay, now I got it. I know how to do this now. How good is this? Is it good now? Is it good? Hey guys, tell me if it's good. Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to get somebody. Mustafa, come लेके जा. Mustafa, come लेके जा. Good. Gane? Door na de. Okay. So hello guys, and welcome to another Kerr Fatou Fridays. Ngalbe kantong ngalbe similai Kerr Fatou Fridays. Kom ka kenyamendrong. Every Friday we come here to talk to you about issues that happen during the week and talk about the show. Last night we had a great interview with the Vice President. It was a great pleasure for us to be the first people to interview him. I hope we were able to address some of your questions. I'm sure we are not able to fulfill everybody's desire, but we were able to bring issues that people had concerns with. And I would want to know your take. What did you think we missed out on the interview? What's your take on the interview? How was it? Did the Vice President answer the questions properly? Did he, did he really, was he trying to be a lawyer, or was he out there trying to answer the questions for us? I think that's something that we all, can look at, and everybody has a different take on what happened. But I think generally the feedback we have was the show was really nice. People, got answers to so many questions, and a lot of people were satisfied with the answers that the Vice President gave. So generally, I think it was a good question. I think Oli was very tough, and she held her ground. I think that was very good. But the Vice President also did not let us just come with our questions. he was you know, always, as he is always, prepared, and I think the questions were fair. Mustafa, please, can someone tell Mustafa to stop writing Nko for me? I don't speak Nko. I don't know how to say Nko. You know, Nko, I don't know that. Mtemanto from mole from Musafeno, Nko Kamoto. Look at them, Mustafa, and Buloto Moto. Go teach Sheriff Boja, not me. Yeah, so, oh, thank you. Hamang, you said we missed the institutional reform. Institutional reform, in what sense? Because I think what we asked him was what was he bringing to the table, and that talks about everything from the institutions. We talked about, you know, the institutions, what is going to change, are they going to, especially with overstaffing and all this. I think that all encompasses that. But yes, you know, you might maybe want what you wanted to hear, at least that part you did not hear. But I think we exhausted a lot of stuff. If you watch the GRTS one, you will not see all of that because we had only 1 hour for GRTS, so we played only 45 minutes of his interview plus our adverts. That makes us 1 hour because we have a lot of adverts. But with our YouTube, or the one we broadcasted on Facebook, we had the entire interview. We did not edit anything out. Normally, I don't edit anything from the YouTube version. So I think it was a great interview, and then it was very, very informative as to. I have always said this, you know, Honorable Dabo is always open to questioning. So when the interview was over, someone called me and said, "Were you not scared to ask him that question about whether it was constitutional for him to run?" I was like, no. In fact, I think he wanted to address that because, I mean, no. Some of these questions, though, I think something that people also need to know. I was talking to Oli this morning, and we were saying this. So when we do a show, we ask questions. Especially when we talked about, yes, Ayo, what happened? Ayo, ngamuneke? Ayo, so even text me from the other number, you know, the new number, because if not, so or messenger, yeah. So I mean, someone was like, "Oh, did you guys, you were talking about these new ministers, they will not be happy with you." No, what people should understand when we do shows, I was talking to Oli this morning, we were having this conversation. When we talk, when we have a discussion, when we talk about issues, we don't, it's not us. It's not about us, it's about the people, the concerns, you know, people raise. I mean, all of you had concerns during, no one can add you. All right, Mama, let me add you. Mama, you're not coming on, so can you go out and come back in, Mama, please? So yes, we were saying this. So when we ask questions, we are asking the concerns of the people. It's not that we are just coming out and accusing people. So people should know, you're trying to do your job. It's not like, that's not our personal feelings. The questions we ask are not our personal feelings. The questions we ask, we are just, you know, the questions we ask are not, we were not like, this is what we want. But the questions we ask about the concerns of the people, what happened when certain things happen, when the reshuffle happened, what are the things that people were worried about. So when we ask questions, it's not that, oh, daf ma naxari li Ousainou Darboe li nga def motax ma laaj the question be. No, we don't do that. In trying to ask questions, when we are asking questions, we ask the concerns of the people. When we were getting into State House, I put a post out and I said I had prepared my questionnaire with my friend Sheriff, but when I was at the State House and I texted, I put this thing out and I say, can you send in your questions? Can you imagine exactly the questions we put together were the questions people were asking? So when I came out, Sheriff said, do you know that all the questions that we worked on are the same questions that people were asking. So meaning, it's the same things that people were worried about that we have heard from people. They are the questions that we ask. So some people will say, why are you asking him this question? Why are you asking this question? Is this how you feel about my appointment? Is this how you feel about my family member's appointment? That's why you're acting like that. No. When we ask questions, we don't mean any harm. We ask these questions because these are the concerns of the people. Of course, his appointment was highly talked about when so many people felt it was unconstitutional. So it was good to give him the chance to clarify that. Whether I am not a lawyer, I don't know the Constitution, but if that is right or no, but at least I'll give him the right to give him the opportunity to answer those questions. So some of these questions we ask, they are not personal and they are not our views. We are just trying to ask, and the people we interview, they don't have issues with these questions. Someone said to me, I'm like, no. After interview, we laughed, we joked. He does it because he's ready to answer those questions. But sometimes people will make so many issues out of things you ask, and they'll take it personal. So that is something I wanted to clarify before we go. Hey, Uncle Femi. Uncle Femi, nakam. But Uncle Femi, guy, you never mala dewa uncle. Mama, I'm not seeing you. Uncle Femi, guy, you ne bumala dewa uncle. So and you're my uncle. You're my uncle. Guy, you never mala dewa uncle. Mama, I can't see you. I can't. Mama Lingia, I can't see you. Can you? Munumalagis, yo. Let me see again. I can't. So I'll try again. But Betty, she interviewed me. I think it was good to ask because there were so many concerns. When Oli, I think the interview, some of the questions I love, especially when Oli asked about nepotism and others. Some of these questions were questions that a lot of people will not be able to ask officials because they will say, hey, if he, But I think it was, we just wanted to clarify the things that people, no, I'm not going to invite Pata. Why should I ask Pata? Do my invite Pata? Mama, I'm not seeing you. Mama, if you're watching, Mama, can you... Let me see, guys. Just made them 1 minute. Can you go out, and come on? So Mama will also be here because we will talk about the GDC issue. I had an interview with we will review the interview with Mama, and we will talk about the GDC press release. And of course, I had an interview with Pa Girigara, and Pa Girigara spoke at length about so many issues, so many issues, and it's interesting. Mama, you in again? Okay. Oh, look at this one. God. Jay, they nakluta mnula is oh God. Mangi Jima said. You're not popping out as to people ninga hamne. Munarena. Uncle Femi la gis te ko mun mako ad. Uncle Femi la gis ak Kia ak Usman Manjang ñoy la gis ñu mëna ad. But maybe you will come up and get, oh God, let me see. Yeah. So, Mama, you're here again. All right, let me see. How much we have? Tey mom internet bi dafa bañ di. God. Okay, so you know what, Mama? Okay, Monday. Léegi Mama adal request xam nga li xew ndeysaan xam nga man waa lii laa rek fii laa jógee Mama naka lañ ko dee ooyee dëkk boobu man dina rek so léegi léegi li ma def mooy léegi Mama invite ma bi naka add ma naka suma notification bi munuma laa add I had to add léegi lii naa ko léegi enable naa ko hey Mama nekk man moom léegi yow mun nga ma add ma Mama I think now you can add me okay. Mama Linguère Mama xam nga man fële laa jógee man dina ring laa jógee so xawma lu bari si lii man daal naa wax téléphone naa mun a update suma Facebook page bi naa mun a lii so yes I accepted you actually accept naa la Mama I just approved it you will receive a notification yeah actually no answer from you okay I'm from Lamen village but my dad my granddad everybody is from Mandinaring so I'm between Lamen and Mandinaring kanan talk where I was born Mama dama la di approve but God please Mama do it again the hell I'm quarter body bunker, so it's not full body bunker. My grandmother, from my mom's side, this troublesome one is from body bunker, just quarter. But I'm full bunker. I'm just quarter body bunker. God, Mom, I think you need to send in again. Adamalade adwai of Marione, you accept to local. So my add so approve it. That's what it's telling me. So I don't know why, and I'm not able to allow viewers to send you requests, which I have done now. You can add them at any point. Yes, I did that now. Enable NACO. So basically, Mama, I just wanted to do a new review about the interview with Def Demba. We reviewed the interview and also talk about this GDC thing. I had an interview with Pagiri Garanjai. He made, allegations. They are really, but I think GDC leadership them. Ayo, what am I doing to you? I'm being honest. I'm being honest, Ayo. Yes, Aliun. I am live. Live and direct.
Fatou, get a technician.
Hanga man badi bunga la, kota badi bunga ak kota 3/4 wa.
Get a technician. This is too much.
Neke man all this while man enable ma won sa suma rek fuma nit ñi da lu bari ni man dal na live ma wax ma tek loolu la ci xam so hanga if you badi bunga du em so loolu motax tey nag kaay ma wax la nag yaa ngi on fire waaye kaay ma wax la nag we will spend so I want us to spend about 5 minutes nga review suñu interview bi yesterday and then another 5 minutes on the GDC issue bi I spoke to Pagiri Garanjai dinaa la brief on what he said and yow nga am sa reaction and then we'll come on si main topic bi tey bi nga indi tey daal nga ne social security nga jëm.
waaw tey social security lañ jëm te xam naa next week itamit yëpp foofu la ñuy nekk incha allah. waaw ndig ma dee wax rek definitely like we said foog rek Fatou rek ñuy wax waaye first of all let me nuyu rek let me just say hello to everybody that's watching wherever you are around the world and watching. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. We appreciate you watching. And of course, we appreciate your feedback as well. So thank you for watching, Fatou. So I'll hand over to you. Let's start.
Well, Mama, last night we invited, we had an interview with the Vice President, Hussein Uda, to talk about, his appointment. We talked about how he, well, the appointment, because there were so many claims that he was, he knew about this, and considering his relationship with the former vice president, and of course, also the issues that a lot of people talk about, nepotism, we spoke about it, even though those are topics that a lot of people are not comfortable talking about. Personally, I am not comfortable talking about some of those issues, but we brought it on the show. We also about his appointment. A lot of people call it unconstitutional. We talked about that also. We talked about what his vice presidency will bring to the table. I think we exhausted a lot of stuff. So I just wanted to know your take on what do you think of his responses, especially to questions that were raised.
Thank you, Fatou. I heard the interview, and I think, as usual, and this is why people tar me as a UDP sympathizer or whatever, but I think Usainu is a very humble person. When you hear him speak, the humility comes across. When you hear him speak, the respect for people comes across. And this is what I like about him as a person. And I like the fact that also he's attacked from every side. I think he's one of the most attacked politicians in the country. Yet he maintains his calm, he maintains his respect, and he maintains his dignity, which is very important. And I commend him for answering the questions because, a lot of people would think that, like you were saying, that, oh, Fatou Toure is against Lawyer Dabo just because she's asking these tough questions. But these are the questions that people want you to ask. And this is where I'm always telling people that when we're doing our jobs, it's different from when we're friends and we're talking. Or what my personal views are. And this is the problem that a lot of people have in terms of what we do. Sometimes when I speak about Lawyer Dabo, people attack me. When I speak about Halifa, people attack me. I speak about another person. As long as it's not favorable to them or their position, you get attacked from every angle. But I think you did a very good job. I think definitely yourself and Oli, the interview was very good. You asked all the relevant questions, all the right questions. And again, Lawyer Dabo was also very articulate in the way that he answered questions, his demeanor, the fact that he was very calm, and he's always. I think that's what I like about him. I've never met Lawyer Dabo personally. I do not know him at a personal level. People are screaming and talking about me, oh, I'm a Lawyer Dabo sympathizer, but I don't even know him personally. He was my neighbor for how many years? But I wasn't in the country at the time. I traveled when I was young. So I don't know him at a personal level, but I appreciate the fact that this is a person that, no matter what the situation is, he remains calm and he is able to appreciate the other person's point of view. And that's very rare. That's very rare. So seeing him, answer the questions that you posed, and again, basically saying, if you do not agree with my appointment, go to the courts. He's right. We have the courts where people should go to have these things redressed. And Fatou will come to that because we have a lot of people now using social media as the court, the people's court. Tarnishing people's images, you name it, on social media. We have the courts for that, and I think we have to have laws now where people actually, can take action against some of these things because it's becoming just too much, basically. So I think, what Lawyer Dabo said, and when I speak about us respecting people, Fatou, in all the other countries, Nelson Mandela is respected in South Africa. He's revered in South Africa. Other people as well in their countries, other heroes in their countries. When you go to Senegal, you talk about Cheikh Anta Diop. There's a university named after him. There, Waljojo Njai. These are everyday heroes that are people, other people, you know, celebrate for what they've done, what they've achieved, etc. In Gambia, We are the only country where we vilify people. We do not have respect for people that we call our heroes. And this is where people lose me, because when I speak about what Khalifa is doing, I speak about it from a point of view that this is what he's done that I want to encourage. When I speak about what Lawyer Dabo is doing, I again I give positive reinforcement, because I think that's the behavior of a leader. And this is where we need to recognize people and give them respect. I don't mind what you say, but when you ask people, what has Lawyer Dabo done to you personally, or what has he done that you feel this is nepotism or this is not right, they cannot give you an example. So the hatred is based mainly on tribe, and this is where they lose me. I don't ascribe to this tribal hatred. I don't ascribe to Nguri Sose. I don't ascribe to any of these things, and this is where they lose me. The moment you start talking about Linguri Sosela, whatever, you lose me, because you tell me what this government has done that's wrong, and there's a lot of things that they're not doing that's right that we should be talking about. Don't trivialize it to tribe. Don't trivialize it to tribe, because it just polarizes the debate, and it makes it it just makes it nonsensical, and I cannot take that. And I don't think we should be disrespecting our elders and disrespecting people who stood for us, even if it's for one day. We have a lot of people that we need to recognize, the likes of Nogo Njai, the likes of Sukai Dahaba, the likes of Lawyer Usainu Dabo, even somebody like Ajiyam Seka. These are people that we should respect. These are people that we should hold in high regard. These are people that we should revere. But what do we do to them? We ignore them. We do not have, we do not give them the respect or the appreciation that they deserve. And on top of that, we heap all of these nonsense allegations on them, and just make them feel, when you look at their record online or anywhere else, it's just sad. And these are people
Yeah.
that have done so much, that have sacrificed so much for country. We are the only people, factory, that are like this.
Yeah.
We're the only people that are like this.
This. I think it's frustrating, but I've always said to people, for me, what I do is just ignore some of those messages. Yesterday, when we were broadcasting the show, it was heartbreaking to see some of the insults people will put out on people. But hey, I don't get it. But again, one thing, Mama, that people still, I think Usainu spoke about it yesterday, about his appointment. A lot of people say is unconstitutional. When we put that out to him yesterday, he said, if you think it's challenge me at the courts. But up to this morning, I have people calling me to say they think I should bring a constitutional lawyer on the show. Still believe that that appointment is unconstitutional, and they think I should bring constitutional lawyers. So I don't know.
Check me, bro.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I think we will need to pursue. If someone, I have a lot of people calling to say, I think you need to do another show to talk about this, because definitely he tried to address this, but the address, it was not convincing. His appointment is still like this and that and that. So what's your take on that, Mama? His appointment.
Factory, to be honest with you, anybody that calls Lawyer Dabo, who has been law abiding all his life, for 22 years, this guy has been an opposition figure, has fought very hard to maintain his party and the opposition intact in the Gambia. UDP was the only force that gave Yahya Jammeh sleepless nights. Let's be honest with that. At least, let's acknowledge something here. You know, we had people, if it was not for parties like UDP and PDRS, etc., our democracy would have died a long time ago. But we had the people, the likes of Lawyer Usainu Dabo, we had the likes of Khalifa and others who stood by, who stood and just basically fought despite everything for 22 years. So those people, if they go to prison for what they believe, and again, Lawyer Dabo did not go to prison because he was a criminal. Lawyer Dabo did not go to prison because he committed a crime in the country. He went to prison because he was fighting for the rights of everybody in that country to be able to protest peacefully, which is our constitutional right. He was there fighting for people who were killed because of dictatorship. So anybody that calls that a crime in our country, anybody that says that Lawyer Dabo is a criminal, I think you are being disingenuous. I think you're being very unfair, and you certainly are not you're not truthful. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. That constitution is like a toilet paper, and we've all said it here before. It needs to be changed because it was done to basically keep Yahya Jammeh in power. You cannot use that
Yeah.
constitution as a yardstick to say that somebody is a criminal, especially somebody who did not break any law in the country. So I think that it's very disingenuous to call Lawyer Dabo or anybody else who went to jail during those April protests a criminal. I think that's very wrong. And not for somebody as well like Lawyer Dabo, who has spent uh, years of his life being law-abiding, being you know, a good citizen of the country, fighting for what he believed, and that was to uproot dictatorship one way or another. You cannot call Lawyer Dabo a criminal. That's just wrong. And people should stop that. It's just wrong.
Wow, and then I think he was defensive here when we talked about the women's affairs minister and having a lot of women in cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still believe that that was a wrong move. Maybe the Ministry of Women's Affairs should be detached from the vice presidency so that we can have a woman because I mean, women constitute more than 60% of the population. So
But
for to have a women, yeah.
Factory, what have the women that have been in that role, what have they done for women in that country? How did
Mama,
they
we have
uplift our well-being? How did they improve
actually
our well-being?
see, but Mama, I think one thing also we need to also understand it's not about what they have done, but it's what are the steps that have been taken to empower women. Because obviously, some months ago, right? Just some months ago, women don't even. All we do is go to most of the women will go the rural women especially. All they do is go to the farms and get their money and just invest in their homes. Today, they have access to soft little loans. They have access to things that can help them. They have this small
Was that done by
schemes.
Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi?
I mean, from Aisatunja Saidi to Women's Bureau to the new minister, I think definitely women have done a lot. Women have done, women leaders for past couple of years have done a lot to bring women to the forefront. I think that is it's not about Aisatunja Saidi or any other person, but I have worked with the Women's Bureau for the past couple of years, and you see how rural women are empowered, how rural women are empowered. And that's obviously is under the office of the vice
Again,
president.
again,
Yeah.
that's the key word there. Women's Bureau. I have worked at Women's Bureau. I have been on track with Women's Bureau from here to Koina. I can tell you a lot about Women's Bureau in terms of the policies when the likes of Naba Cham were there, the likes of, what's her name again, the director that was there. I've worked with all of them. The minister position or the women's affairs position is just a policy position. It's not
Yeah.
it's not somebody who's going to go out there and do the legwork that needs to be done. I think what we need to
But
fight for, I
let
think
me
what we need to fight for,
mama policy.
Usainu Daba might be more gender sensitive than Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi or even Vice President Fatmata Tambajang.
Okay.
So I think
That's your take.
it's a matter of, again, I know a lot of people are going to say, no, I don't agree with this, but I think it's a matter of giving him a chance. He has a few months, and I believe in giving people a chance to do something. When they don't perform, then we come back. I gave the health minister 1 year 6 months. I will give lawyer Usainu Dabo as well some time to see what he can do in terms of women empowerment and developing our women before I come back and attack him and say you are not a good minister, or this portfolio should not be under your watch. Because I can tell you, what we need is not somebody, is not a, and I think we have to stop defining gender, man and female, etc. Women's affairs can be for a man can be there, or a woman can be a woman can be there. The basic thing is we're not looking for the gender is not important. What is important is the policies that you bring in place that will empower the women, that will help improve the lives of women in the country. And this is where I think a lot of people get it wrong. We have the Women's Bureau and other coordinating bodies in the country who will work to then implement some of these things in terms of making it a reality. But the policy issues, etc., anybody can do that. It doesn't have to be a man or a woman or whatever. I think anybody can do that. And this is where we have to, because we cannot say, then we should say also that, because of religion, the presidency should only be reserved for men. That's not right. You know, when we fight these things, and that's what I say, that when I fight these things, I look at the bigger picture. I look at the bigger picture, because then men can also say that we have to have a specific ministry that's only reserved for men. Youth and sports should only have a man in there. No, it should have a woman in there as well.
But would you agree that our representation in cabinet, Mama, it doesn't have to be just the women's affairs minister, but let's say out of 14 cabinet ministers, you have only 2 or something like that. That is not a fair representation, Mama. That is not a fair representation.
See, Fatou, that is where we should be fighting as women. That's where we should be saying that. Thank you, Anta. Thank you for agreeing with me. That's why we should be fighting with these people and saying that we have competent women that can be ministers, that can be directors, that can be in any position in that government. It doesn't have to be just men in that government, because the ratio or the percentage is totally unfair. This is what we need to fight, but not the Women's Affairs portfolio. The Women's Affairs portfolio is just a little thing. If we say that only a woman should be Women's Affairs minister, then we can also say that only a man should be a sports minister. And that's wrong. We have to stop this gender, when we fight gender and all of these things, we have to look at it from a point of view where if these men also stand up and say, we also want a man as a president because our religion says a woman cannot be an imam, so a woman should not be a president, then what are we going to say? So we have to be careful how we fight these things. The battle is not the Women's Affairs portfolio. The battle should be the ladies, the women that should be in parliament, the women that should be in cabinet. That's what I'm fighting for. I think that is, we have competent women that should be ministers and directors, etc. The ratio of directors in terms of men, in ministers in terms of men, that's totally wrong. That's why we need to stand up and say women need representation. We have people, and I saw my very good sister Antatal here speaking. She's at the finance ministry. Why can't they have young, dynamic ladies like this that are promoted to the position of ministers, permanent secretaries, etc.? So that we empower the women, we uplift the women. This is the fight that we should be fighting. But when we trivialize it to women affairs minister, then we trivialize the issue, we trivialize the debate. We lose because we are not seeing the bigger picture. And that's why I always say that let's look at what we fight for. Let's look at how we fight. Let's look at the battles that we choose to fight. That's what's important.
Yeah, but I think that's generally it should be. I was talking to a colleague. It should not just be about one position. It should be about representation. For example, now that we have the Constitutional Review Commission going on, some of these things should be in our constitution, right? The representation. If you go to Senegal, when they put up their candidates, you put up a man, you put a woman next to it, because that is in their constitution, that is in their laws. For us, that is what we should be looking at now. How do we elevate the conversation to something like that? Now that they're going around consulting with people, they're going to put up the new constitution. How do we get our voices out there? How do we get representation? But it has to be through the legislation. It has to be through the constitution. These things are important. It's not just about one position, but it's about...
Fatou, already, I can tell you that there's a law, the Women's Act, it's called, that already states that there's a percentage of parliament posts, etc., cabinet posts that should be going to women.
Yeah.
We do not have that happening right now. This is where we need to choose, and I say this again, let's choose that battle to fight. Because then when we fight that battle, we're likely to win, because we have chosen a strategic fight to fight. We're saying that women should be represented. We need more women empowered. We need more women in top cabinet positions. And when we talk about women in top cabinet positions as well, Fatou, we cannot take women who go into these positions and do not do anything and do not deliver. Those are not the kinds of women that we need represented or as examples in our democracy. So when they choose these women, they have to be President Barrow has to choose the right women, the kind of women that will empower the people, the kind of women that will be role models, the kind of women that will go there ready to work and deliver. And and the kind of women that we saw so far, you know, that have been in there, the likes of and my friend Sofilo, etc. Those are not the kind of women that we want as role models. I'm sorry, but we can do better. There's so many other women who are better, who can do better, and those people need to come on board and be better and do the work that is expected. But right now, we should be telling the president that you are actually breaking a law because according to the Women's Act, that there are the proportion of men and women in parliament in cabinet right now breaks that act. So this is things that we should be fighting for. But when we reduce these things to no, Dabo should not be women's affairs minister, this, then you know the men can also say certain positions should be reserved for only men. Then we bring in these gender things, and it trivializes the issue. This is what I'm talking about. Let's fight our battles. Let's choose which battles to fight, and how we you know, how strategic we are in fighting and winning these battles. For me, that's more important. When if I don't see Lawyer Dabo delivering in terms of policy for women, if I don't see Lawyer Dabo delivering in terms of uplifting women, etc., then I can say, you know, Dabo is not performing the role that he should be doing. But right now, I do not think that he hasn't even started doing anything, and already everybody's like jumping on the bandwagon and screaming, hello?
You know, this is why we always say you are UDP, though.
I laugh when I hear that.
Yesterday, a lot of people call my show Kerr Fatou, Kerr UDP. I'm like, really? Think in man. We were open it.
No, ñoom daal
But you
ñoom
know.
ñoom fekk taxawuloo si sa side si seen side rek yow fii nga démba li ma wax.
Yeah.
Démba li ma wax si Halifa, a lot of people also took it as ne oh I'm now a PDI supporter, and all of a sudden everybody was like, you know. So it's always the case when you say something positive about one leader or whatever, you are supporting that party or you're doing whatever. And like I said, man, I'm Team Gambia. I believe in Gambia's interest first before anybody else's interest. That's my belief. Even my own interest and my family's interest has to come second to the country's interest. That's how I feel. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, I think that is definitely something loo xam ne mun nañ see d'accord waaye mama gis naa nag briefly ñu dem si GDC briefly rek 2 minutes GDC seen statement bi when I saw the statement I called Pagiri Garanjai the collage statement where I spoke to him, and then I was, you know, it was an interview because he was on record to have him interviewed. We spoke about why he dissociated himself from the press release. Actually, his reasons were he believed the party because they don't consult. There are certain people who are close to Mama Kande, they just mislead him, according to him. And they did the same thing during the elections, mayoral elections. So obviously he felt like they never consulted because they spoke to him about night before that they were going to issue that statement about Talib Bensouda, and he told them, according to him, his exact words, I told them that Talib's party leader is a seasoned lawyer. Talib's mother is a seasoned lawyer. I know they will not risk that embarrassment, pour ñu def loo xam ne amut. So he advised against it, and in the morning when he woke up, mu gis statement bi. Mugisco, he was very upset. He believed that contributed a lot to his candidacy, and then he was not happy. And he also further went on to say he was one of the financiers of GDC. And I was shocked, and he said he had contributed over 2.5 million to 2016 presidential bid. He was the one financing the party, and so many other stuff, you know, we spoke about. And then this was somebody like that, somebody who can financially support that party to just leave. I think that's a big blow. That is a big blow.
Definitely, and I would have loved the statement from the GDC, because they are holding they like holding people accountable, and sometimes I think they get it very, very wrong, and that's why I am also very concerned about their style of doing things, and whether that is the kind of leadership that we want in New Gambia. Because again, I think a leader has to be measured in some of the things. Again, it's about picking strategic fights that you need to fight. It's about being able to fight, being able to do due diligence before you come out there. And unfortunately, GDC has come up with many statements which have just been found to be basically not supported by any law, and frivolous at the most. And it has really damaged their credibility. I think as a party, they need to sit back a bit, and hold back on the issue of these press releases without due diligence. Because I think it's very important for them to be doing their homework before they come and issue statements that then become that people find later on to be untrue, and at most people find very irresponsible, and it means that again, it damages their credibility. And somebody like Pagiri Garanjai definitely leaving the party is a big blow for the GDC. I don't know what Mama Kande has said on that, because I haven't heard about it. I even asked MC Cham whether they're going to issue a statement on
In
if the
fact,
picture.
I just want to come here. I spoke to, I was talking to my brother MC, and then I think they are more concerned about that, but they are also more concerned about Usainu's response to them, and they had told me that they want to come on the show, and then. Talk to us about what happened. I think they are going to respond to Husseino's interview, and they want us to do an interview. Mama is out of town, but he will be back on Sunday, so we will have an interview with him. But I think they were very concerned about Husseino's response, and they want to respond to that. Plus, maybe the statement as well, to explain why the statement, and So that's going to be interesting. I think we will do the recording next week, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think they need to do due diligence before they come up with these press releases and press statements, because it really doesn't look good, and it doesn't tell well for their party to always get it so wrong, and then in the end, they do not retract anything, they just continue, which means that it's actually worse, because then people lose respect for you. Because when you're wrong, it's good to come back and say, I'm wrong, I apologize. They should have apologized to somebody like Talib. They should have apologized to the other people that they have tarnished, or said something about that later was found to be untrue. So I think they need to get into the habit of realizing that leadership is not about who issues the most statements or whatever. Leadership is actually about restraint sometimes, and doing your homework before you actually come out here and make statements which are just at best, like I said, very irresponsible. And we don't want an irresponsible leader, and we don't want a leader who does not do due diligence. So definitely, Mama has to be mindful of that, and he has to be very careful of his reputation, because right now he's losing a lot in terms of reputation, and in terms of somebody that people would respect, definitely.
Okay, so we will see how that goes next week. Now, Mama, today, you wanted to talk about this issue that is happening on Social Security. We did not do a show because I wanted to make sure I don't just talk to one party. I wanted to make sure I talk to both parties. We had been contacted by the other part, the other group, the Camara's team, to do an interview with them, and they were ready. But we also tried to get to the MD Manjang, and he scheduled us for an interview last week. But they had a new board, so he was preparing for the board, and then also he was meeting with the National Assembly Select Committee to present their financial something. So he was preparing for all of that. So he was not able to do the interview. So I wanted to make sure, I know this team were ready, but I wanted to make sure I interview both parties to make sure I give good hearing, like chances to both of them, because I don't want us to be seen as to the people that are encouraging this one and not encouraging, even though we all have our personal how do you call it, we all have our where we what we believe is true. I also believe one party is in the right track, but because I am trying to do an interview, I'm not able to show who I think is right or who I think is not right. But I've seen you, and you have got so many facts to this story, so it'll be interesting to hear your take on this.
Okay, thank you, Fatu. And I think maybe I should do my Halifa bit first before we get into social
Yeah,
security,
the
because
Halifa bit.
otherwise,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw that you said Halifa, Mama. You said Halifa is right. There's no system change. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Mama, bring it on. You're on fire.
I said that, and I believe, and this is where I said Mama Kanda needs to learn to come back and say, I apologize, or this is not, I issued this statement without due diligence, and I must come back and now say, I apologize, or I'm sorry, or I now understand the facts better. When Khalifa spoke about system change, and when he spoke about serving better in the National Assembly, a lot of us, including myself, were like, no, 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 we want you in cabinet. Why are you not taking a cabinet position? You can contribute better in cabinet, etc., etc. But then when I look back now at all the things that are happening, um, 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 with coalition members. We saw the sacking of Maifati. Now OJ is gone. Somebody like who else? Fatmata Tambajang is
Fatma.
gone. And who else? Henry Gomez is no longer a minister. Definitely, I have to say that Halifa has been vindicated because
How?
he chose to go to the parliament where he cannot be fired and where he can contribute positively. And he
Yeah.
has been doing that no matter what you say about Halifa. I don't agree with Halifa about some of the things that he did, and he does, and I can say that here. I think PDYS needs to be more flexible in the way that they deal with members, and in the way that they encourage individual initiative and dialogue, etc. But I believe that Halifa was right to actually go to parliament, because he's now contributing more in terms of being able to scrutinize laws that come in, helping with the debates there, etc. And whether you like it or not, he's doing a great job in parliament. Even the UDP MPs that I speak to will tell you that they have learned so much from Halifa.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you have to give him that. No matter what you feel about him or how you feel about him, you have to give him the fact that he chose where he felt right, that this is the place for me. And I believe that this is right, because if he was in cabinet and he's as outspoken as somebody like Mama Linger, who will not keep quiet about certain things, he would be gone a long time ago, and then he will not be able to serve the people. But right now he's in parliament. He can serve in parliament better, and he's able to scrutinize and help in making sure that some of these laws, etc., that are passed are actually conform with law, with what they should, with the constitution, etc. So definitely, I have to tell him that he's been vindicated, and I think he made the right decision to actually go to parliament instead of be in cabinet. And again, I believe that if many of the other coalition leaders had done the same, then they would still be members of parliament, and they would be able to contribute towards the development of the country in parliament. That will also open up the space for the president to choose young, dynamic Gambians, people who are very who can come on board and contribute at the level of cabinet, director level, etc. Because right now we have and I say this with all, I don't want to sound, again, negative or whatever, but I think that the percentage of men, especially old men, that we have in the parliament, in our foreign services, we have a UK ambassador who's going to 70 plus. We have another one in Paris who's at 70 plus. We have another one in, you name it. When you look at our ambassadors, you look at their ages, it really doesn't, portray an image of a country that's over 50% youth. And when you look at our cabinet as well, it doesn't reflect the reality of Gambia, of over 50% youth population. So Halifa made the right decision in going to Parliament, because then you can contribute, and you're able to also, from that angle, you're able to do what it takes to also try and effect system change. And this, when I talk about system change, Fature, what we have in the Gambia right now is not system change. The level of corruption in that country, the level of corruption in Gambia, I can even say that what Jammeh left behind, is the same as what happens now, because the same people, and I keep telling Barrow this, when you cut off the head, and you leave the bottom, it's the same result that you're going to get. Ministers and director level positions, those are just top policy positions. When you want to effect change, you have to go to the technocrats, the people that make the decisions, the people at the bottom who actually should be doing the work. And we have directors, we have permanent secretaries, we have people who since the Jammeh era are just being recycled from one ministry to another. And now they've done the reshuffle. Thank you. They not only, what I meant about youth was even women as well. They're part of the youth population as well. So when you look at this factory, you look at some of these things happening, you realize that definitely we do not have yet the system change, because system change comes with attitudinal change. Attitudinal change means that if we had attitudinal change today, we would not see people at Social Security and all these other places standing up and demanding that their directors go because they're trying to effect change. If we have attitudinal change, we have system change.
Yeah.
We will not have the same directors who are basically still in control, directing the ministers that come on board. And you know what they do? They actually corrupt these ministers. You have a permanent secretary that all he or she will do is ensure that he or she plans travel and everything for the minister, make sure that the minister is having as much per diem as possible. They just corrupt the minister when they comes. So what happens is they continue with the same practice that was there at the time that Jammeh was there, because that's what they know how to do. So our ministers are going into these institutions and they're being corrupted. Because once you go into these institutions, and the only thing, the permanent secretary will come to you and say, oh, okay, I have booked X, Y, and Z travel for you. And when you calculate that, you see that, within 1 month, I'm getting 1 million in per diem. Of course, you will not say that that permanent secretary needs to go, even though the permanent secretary is not delivering to the people. He or she is delivering to you. He or she is ensuring that in order to keep his or her position, he or she is arranging travel for you, arranging meetings for you so you can go out of the country and collect your per diem. At that same token, that permanent secretary is also collecting money, collecting bribes, kickbacks, etc. in your name that you don't sometimes even know about. And you have already been compromised because they've already have you in a corner where they're just pumping you with travel to get out of the country as much as possible. So what happens is, when you do not deal with the technocrats at the level of the permanent secretaries, etc., but today what we have is just the same thing. We don't have system change. And this is what I was talking about. Corruption is still rampant. Lack of discipline is still rampant. You go to the offices, people do not go to work until after 10, 11. That's just totally indiscipline. And then you want to be paid your salary at the end of the month, and you don't put in any effort, you don't work for the people, and a lot of these things, even with Social Security. I do not see in any argument where they're telling me that we want to improve the livelihoods of the pensioners, we want to help the pensioners. The director is fighting the pensioners, or he's taking the pensioners' money. All I hear is our welfare, our allowances, our this, our that. So I'm beginning to wonder, I mean, where is us, the people? Where is our interest in all of these things? Where is our interest in all of these things? Who is protecting the people's interest? Who is being there for the people? Who is working for the people? You have ministers who go at you name it. There are some factory. I went to Banjul, and the only thing that I did I just made sure I went to ministries and I will ask, where's the permanent secretary? Where's the minister? Where's the this? Nobody was in the office. You will go to some ministries, the permanent secretary is not there. The director is not there. The minister is not there. Everybody's traveled. Everybody's traveled, which means nobody is there making any decisions that would for the interest of the people. So imagine that. How do you affect change when you're not working, when you're not delivering, when you do not look? The bottom line should be the interest of the people, the interest of Gambia. These people do not look at our interest. These people are not there for our interest. They're not working for our interest. They're working for their own interest. That's what I see in that country. And when our ministers come, these corrupt, and I will say it, these corrupt Jammeh permanent secretaries, they do the same things that they did to Jammeh's ministers before. They saddle them with travel, they saddle them with meetings, provide for them their per diem to go and travel, and they continue the same practice in those ministries. Nothing changes. And it's sad. That is not system change. That is not what we fought for. That is not what we fought for. And like Coach is saying, there's no lack of urgency. Nobody is taking the interest of the people. Nobody understands that we need to deliver. We need a country that will go forward. We need a country that we will move forward. We're not thinking about that. Nobody's thinking about that. And that's why, you know, I said that, okay, I've given this government 1 year and 6 months. From now on, I'm going to come, and I'm not going to go after Barrow. Barrow cannot go and run the health ministry. Let's be honest with ourselves. Barrow should not go and run the health ministry. If Barrow gives money through parliament, through the taxpayers give money to the minister and empower that minister to deliver. If he doesn't deliver, we cannot go after Barrow. We start at that ministry. We start with the minister and the permanent secretary. That's how we will effect change. If we blame everything on Barrow and not these people, you know what they do? They sit in their offices and continue to get away with murder. Because they know that nobody is going to hold them accountable. We're holding people who should not be accountable. We did not fight for change.
Mama, a lot of people will say, Mama, a lot of people will say, how are we able to do this when we don't have civil service reforms? So I think Barrow is the head of the government, and then hold on, let me just Mama, there?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but like I said, Fatou,
what I was trying to say though, you are saying we cannot blame Barrow. Yes, we cannot blame him there, but this is his government. You know why we said, number one, when this government came, they should have a civil service reform. If you do civil service reform, you evaluate people, that way you can affect the system change you're talking about. But if we are not able to do that, how can we affect the change that we want?
Exactly. And Fatou, this is where I say that again, you know, we have to start by holding the people that we entrust with these positions accountable. Barrow is accountable overall. We cannot absolve him, but we have to start with the people who are entrusted, our ministers, our permanent secretaries, people at the level of policy that should be making these decisions. Barrow should not. Well, anyway, for me, I did not fight for our problems to still be resolved in State House. I did not fight for people to think that everything should resolve around State House. Our issues should be resolved at the relevant ministry. And that's why we need to hold these people accountable so that they can work. When you go to places like the agriculture ministry and all these places, you see everybody that walks past you has a degree or a master's degree. They're getting funding to have they are educated. You cannot take that away from them. They have been funded to pursue relevant academic studies, etc. But when they come back, what do they contribute in terms of developing the country? What do they contribute in terms of what they've learned, skills transfer, bringing it back into the country? What do our ministers bring back? What do our permanent secretaries bring back from all this travel that they implement in their ministries to take our country forward? What do they implement? We don't see it. Either they're not communicating or it's not happening.
Well, a lot of them,
our people are suffering.
A lot of people that I spoke to, remember we had the former minister of trade, right? When we said, when we said you guys travel a lot, the ministers go, the permanent secretaries go, this is a lot of money. And the general answer they will give us, well, for 22 years, we are out of all these international organizations. How can we bring funding? How can we bring back money if we don't travel? This is an argument they always put out there, but this is an argument they always put out there.
Factory. If you're traveling and you don't bring back any money, you cannot even justify how your travel will impact. When I worked at MRC, when I worked at all these other places, before you travel, you have to justify why do you feel this training, how it is going to impact your work. How do you think it's going to impact the lives of the people that you serve? When our ministers travel, how does that impact when you take a huge delegation of 45 to the UN, how does that impact the lives of Gambians? How does that change the life of Gambians? What do you learn at the UN that you bring on board and implement in Gambia? When I did my master's, it was funded by MRC. And my thesis, actually, when I was doing, was actually, my project work was actually based on a performance appraisal system. And I had to, when I finished with that, it was a case study that I did. When I finished with that, I had to implement a new performance management system at MRC. That means I'm transferring what I've learned to my institution to help them develop. But when you look at when you look at Gambia, you have all of these people trained by the government, trained by the taxpayer. What do they bring back that impacts their institutions? What do they bring back? For example, when you look at MRC today, my project was on performance appraisal. You look at other scientists that are at MRC, when they do their work, they're looking at certain diseases or certain things that will impact the work that they do at MRC, and they bring those skills and transfer it to the workplace. That's what, for me, that's what learning is about. That's what traveling is about. But if we're traveling but we're not bringing anything, if we're traveling but we're not learning anything, if we're traveling and we cannot, that doesn't impact our people, our society, then what exactly are we achieving from this travel? What kind of, and this is where system change comes in. This is where attitudinal change comes in. Some people have traveled who are qualified, who are sitting in those ministries, perhaps they're not being listened to. How do those people stand up and make sure that they are heard, that they can impact in some way towards the betterment of the lives of Gambians? That's my question. How do we have a change in the system, in the attitudes of our workers? Right now, we have one of the worst civil service in the world. People who do not turn up until 11 o'clock in the morning. And then you come into the office, the first thing you do is you go and buy breakfast. That takes another hour before you sort out your breakfast, you eat, and then you come back. And then people come, they're sitting down and queuing, and you do not care. Service is about serving the people. You are there to serve the people. The people are not there to serve you. Do you get me? So when we have people sitting in their offices, from permanent secretaries to ministers, etc., who think that we, the taxpayers, owe them something, instead of them serving us, that's the problem, Fatou. We don't have system change, and we don't have the reforms that are needed. Or right now, I don't see the strong will in government for them to really impact this system change and these reforms that are needed. Like I said, it's not going to be popular and it's not going to be easy, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done in order to get different results, in order to get a result. And this is why, definitely I said that, when I was listening to Halifa before, I did not understand what he was saying, but definitely we have a regime change that we have. But system change, we are yet to get there. We are not yet there. We are not yet there. And I will not, just because I disagree with Halifa on some points, doesn't mean that I will not give him credit when I feel he's right on some points as well. I'll do the same thing. If I feel Lawyer Dabo is right on some points, I'll say Lawyer Dabo is right on this. I believe he's a this and this, and I will say the same with Halifa. If I believe that Halifa is right, I will come out and say I think he's right on this point, and we should listen to him.
I think at this point, Mama, it's not about who says this. It's not about which party leader says this or who said that. It's about what is in the interest of the country, because we are at a crossroad. There's the level of the way people, the attitudes need to be changed. Mama, we don't lack professionals in this country. There are so many people who have degrees. You know, when you go to these ministries, all you hear, I have masters, I have bachelors, I have this, I have that. Like the knowledge is there, that, you know, but it's the attitudes. You know, you send a proposal, like you send a proposal somewhere, just for them to even minute it to another department, it takes 2-3 weeks. And like you know, you're just talking and I'm like, okay, did she know what some of us go through? It's crazy. The system is so rigid.
Because Fatou, I can tell you, I'm working on a project that I'm helping at the moment with. And we have, just to get certain things done, permanent secretaries will sit on emails that should be done in 2 minutes. They'll sit on it for 4 months. They haven't even read the emails.
Yep.
Borough has to hold these people accountable somehow. You cannot come in this information age, this digital world that we live in now. You cannot come into the office and you do not respond to emails. People tell me that I have sent this email to this ministry, and they still 1 year later they haven't responded. And you can see that they have received it and they've opened it, but they maybe haven't even read it.
Yeah.
So who holds these people accountable? And I'm talking about permanent secretaries. I'm not even talking about ministers. We have so many projects sitting on the desk of permanent secretaries who will travel every single week out of the country, but they will not open a single email to work for the people that they're supposed to work for in that country. Fatou Toure, we have people who go to the office until they leave that office. They do not even open their computers. In this age of technology, how are they serving the people? So you have basically people sitting down who should be served, who are just sitting down waiting. You send an email for one question or one thing to be done, and you're waiting for a response for 1 year. You do not hear from the permanent secretary. What is that? And nobody's holding these permanent secretaries accountable. And just to tell, you know, the finance people as well, Mamburin Jai and his team, that, you know, I've heard that Motsise is now in finance. And we'll be coming, you know, we are coming to finance as well, because we will not let these things continue to happen. Not on, you know, not under our watch and not in our name. I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it has to be, because we have to force these people to work for us. We are the ones that pay taxes in that country. We are the ones that are that work and sweat to pay taxes, to pay these people's salaries. They have to work for us. They have to respect our views. They have to listen to us. Fatou, we are not taking no for an answer, and we will not accept incompetence. We will not accept corruption, and we have to fight it at every level. We might not be popular. We might not be the you know, whatever you call it, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, you know, I said this to somebody. I said, in this fight, especially the kind of job we do, you know, you have to get prepared for this, because you know, in going on, it's people take things very personal. You know, you do a show or you talk about a certain particular issue, and you take your proposal. You don't know how you don't know how but at the end of the day, let me lose that contract. But at the end of the day, I think what matters is we're just doing enlightening people, and this needs to be understood by a lot of people. People need to understand we're not just doing this for us. But again, I have said this to so many government officials. You know, you go to a government office, you go to a parastatal. I mean, parastatals are even better. You go to ministries, you get into the office. You know, you get there like heti leka. I'm like, what kind of branding is this even? Heti leka around 1 o'clock. Like nobody cares about who is visiting. You cannot get access to documentations. You cannot, they don't get response. So you will be going, so you them back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. Yow yaay dem di len topa di daw. Yow yaay dem di len topa di daw. On top of that, am na ñoo xamne seen project si dañoo génné xaalis di len fay di len jox pour ñu liggéey, pour ñu dimbalé len ci project yoo xamne dafa ñëw pour dimbalé askan bi. What for? What for? Gambia government ñoom ñoo war a uti nit ñi di daw si gannaaw nit ñi pour ñu jox leen projets yoo xam ne dina ñëw ñu dimbale askan bi. waaye yow yaay dem si seen gannaaw di daw yow yaay nekk di leen toppa di call yow yaay nekk di leen toppa di email. Why and what you said is very important. You go into an office and there's the stench of food everywhere. Nobody cares about professionalism. Nobody cares about what image they portray. And you talk about branding. These are things that a government needs to understand. A government's brand is very important. What you put out there in terms of professionalism. Right now, you walk in with a donor into an office, or you walk in with a businessman into an office, and the secretary is sitting there munching, eating in front of you, right in front of you. You have an appointment at this time. You get there at 2 o'clock. The person, the minister or the permanent secretary that you're supposed to meet is not there. They've already left. They're not here. So you have to sit down and wait for them.
Nga am something important. You know, dama leka ngumde harma. Like seriously. I think what they need to some offices. I remember when women eke Gamtel, some offices will have punch-in system, and then you punch in, you punch out. But how many of us do that? So I think people need to I think it's our attitude. We don't lack professionals, but it's the attitude towards what we do. That is very important. I appreciate that more now that I'm doing my own business, because like I work like crazy, but now that I do my own business, for example, as suma bena staff mu call ma dama dem jënd I'm like, seriously, on a Monday morning? But that is normal for me. And I'm like, are you serious? Because that is normal. Some people, I remember some people who call me, sponsors. They send me an email, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, I'll respond. It's like, this is not Gambian. But at the end of the day, why should I wait for 3-4 days to respond? But because that's what's happening in our system. And I think, but I still think the government should take the lead, Mama. I think the government should take the lead, because definitely, boor moo war a xaal yoon bi wan ne suma liggéeykaay man maay kilifa bi. People should step up. For example, tey su président jógee dem si benn ministry ega fa mu ne leen ana seen register bi mu xool ñu leet yëpp mu ne leen ok suspend leen 1 week, you will take it from their salary. Next week, wallahi duma late, because you're suspending me. I suspend people. Last week, I suspended somebody from my office because he came to work at 11. Manako go home for 1 week and he gets out of your salary. Go next week, then you're on time. You're not being bad, but you're trying to train these people because they're young people. You're from one land, lan moy yon. Dang len wara one system nakale dohe ligay kay lan moy loi nakale de deme. But if you're able to do those things, Mama, the system will just continue like that, and that is what is happening.
And this is why I say that they have to take the painful decisions to start firing people. They have to take the painful decisions to start suspending people. And Barrow himself, I told him before, don't sit at State House and expect people to come and report to you and tell you what is happening. Get up, PMO is just right next door to you. Walk into those ministries and go and check when your people come to work. Because at the end of the day, we will hold the permanent secretaries responsible. We will hold the ministers responsible. But ultimately, Barrow is responsible. He's the one that's responsible for everything ultimately. So he needs to make sure that he curbs these things that bring corruption, this traveling, this conferences that they organize to go and get sitting allowances and all of these things. It brings in corruption. Cut it off. In all institutions where people are progressing, where institutions are progressing, they do not have these corruption going on in terms of, conferences. You're attending a conference in Gambia. You get paid money to go and sit down and listen. You get paid. So all they do is they organize conferences and they go sit there the whole day. Nobody's in the office to work. You come to the country, you're in the country maybe a week, in a month, you're just in the country for a week. And when you're in the country for a week, you don't turn up into your office until about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then you leave the office, you go and eat first, and then you come back, you sit in your office, you're eating. And all of these things, it's just, the lack of discipline. The lack of discipline, the fact that the president is not holding them accountable. And this is where I say to Barrow, get up, go into these ministries, see what time they come in, start suspending people, start firing people, start making sure people understand that you mean business. Curb on this travel. How much money has been spent on travel since this regime came into power? Curb on this travel. And we're not talking about even traveling at ministerial level. We're talking about permanent secretaries, you know, directors, junior level staff who are just every week they're out of the country. So who is helping the minister to deliver? Who is helping the minister to respond to emails? Nobody's there.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of system where traveling has to be controlled. Otherwise, it just breeds this corruption that we see, and it continues to happen in the country. And maybe if this traveling is curbed, the savings can be used to increase salaries and improve staff terms and conditions, because those things need improving. But we have to cut. We have to do the cuts at the level that we can then share the cake, so that it's even for everybody. Because the cleaner does not get to travel, the messenger does not get to travel. The messenger does not get to travel. But then you know that money that is being spent on traveling at the top is not reflected at the people at the bottom. They get poorer, and the others are still get richer. So there has to be a system where the savings that they can make on travel will be shared amongst the workers, so that actually salaries can improve, because salaries need to improve. Our civil service, the salary is not commensurate to the living standards of the country. So we have to do something. The president has to do something. But you have to do something by actually, you have to make the necessary cuts here or there to be able to improve. Like, you know, I saw what Ibrahim Asila did at GRTS. That needs to happen across the civil service. Salaries need to increase. People's salaries need to reflect the realities of the ground. That's one way of cutting corruption. But right now, people rely on their per diem as a source of maintaining or supplementing their earnings, and that is wrong. And that means that they're not being effective, and they're not delivering to the people that they should be delivering to. So definitely, you know, we have to think about the cleaners, we have to think about the messengers, and all the other people who cannot travel. And it's not fair on them, Fatou. It's not fair on them. So let's try and see how we can increase salaries, and at the same time, you know, make sure that we cut back on this travel and this useless, what do you call it again? Look at the health ministry again. I give them as an example because I've done a lot of work on them in terms of studying what they've done, etc. They organized a seminar, a qualitative seminar on how many drugs they should order. Imagine you have how many directors. You don't sit in one director's office and talk about this and order. No. 6 months later, still they haven't been able to do the order. But they have spent over 3.5 million to have this meeting, to sit down and talk about the quantity of drugs that they should buy for the country. So they sit down and spend 3.5 million already of the money from the people to have a seminar, to lie down in hotels, to be paid sitting allowances and all of these things. And then nothing happens. So instead of sitting in one director's office and just saying, okay, this and this and this, and then we order and then we get it done, no, nobody does that. So you know, this sitting allowances, this you know, per diem thing, it just encourages corruption, and it doesn't improve productivity, because you know, you're out of the country, you're not productive. You're in the country, you're thinking about your next travel, you're not productive. You're thinking about how you're going to supplement your salary with travel, you're not productive.
No.
Something has to be done.
Yeah. But I think it's, generally a lot of people will now believe, just like you said, we still need to work on our systems. The systems have to change, but it all has to start with a reform, a big reform agenda. What is the government's agenda to make sure the civil service is, the people that work for the government are empowered. The people that work for the government are looked after, because if you don't look after the people, you know, when they see something somewhere, they will take it, and they're not going to have good attitude to work. So it has to, I just believe it has to start with the government putting out a good agenda and making sure this agenda is something that every civil servant, you know, sees themselves in. I'm sure they cannot satisfy everybody, but the agenda should be centered on. It's been 18 months. It's been 18 months, and you know, I keep on asking, when are we just going to have the civil service reforms? If we don't have a civil service reform, you know, it's just going to be pointless, you know, talking about. But I think talking about the issue all the time will also help to create more awareness. They will listen, and they might just start doing something.
So now we go to social security. Social security. On now, the madam takes the madam graduation. Suma stepdaughter may graduate. So the madam
Fatou social security. Xam nga man wax naa leen ne du may teel a wax parce que dama dee bëgg a get my facts right te dama dee bëgg a study the case ma understand from both sides. Man duma daw coow fekk Gambia moom fekk Gambia la moom duma daw coow beneen coow moom boobu mun naa koo daw bañ wax ne tapet la waaye Gambia moom lu ci Gambia moom duma ko daw maa bañ dama taxaw xeex ko because I think ne ñun suñ nit ñi we deserve better. Ku wax lii mu ne ma ne ku xiif mu warut a liggéey government.
maa ngi ne emal xale bii
No, but seriously, you know, social security. Gis nga ñun ñu ngi toog di seetaan loo xam ne Fatou it's not right. Gis nga whistle blowing anywhere there's procedures and there's a law because anybody bi nga ñëw biñ la employ da nga am what is called confidentiality. Da nga sign letter of appointment bi nga sign dafa am a confidentiality clause boo xam ne moo fa nekka boo xam ne dafa war a daf la war a restrain in certain things yi nga xam ne moom ngay put out there. Ba pare the service lefin si boppam government the service naka la tudda rules am yi service rules am yi am na confidentiality clause bu fa nekk boo xam ne war na la mun a won yow lan mooy sa responsibility understand nga sa rights ak sa responsibility ñun fi mu nekk nii li ñu am si civil service bi mooy total disrespect total indiscipline te xam nga loolu fu mu jëm Fatou worse dañoo gën a dafaa gën a yàqu rek gis nañ fii in America whistleblower boobu noonu naka la tudda xëy na ñoom mañ ñaa mi nga xam ne ñoom Edward Snowden thank you Edward Snowden fan la nekka mu ngi fan la Edward Snowden nekka mu ngi Russia right
mu ngi Russia di nobu waaw
because lan American government bi ba léegi whistleblowing is a crime in that country and these people were talking about ñoo xam ne we're talking about advanced democracies fii nii ñun na Gambia ñun emuñ rek léegi si whistleblowing de ñun dangaa taxaw sa nga saaga sa boss yëpp in the name of democracy dangaa taxaw nga personally attack sa boss all in the name of democracy dégg nga te doos thank you mu ngi Russia Edward Snowden mu ngi Russia because lan whistleblowing dañ ko soxla law bi daf ko soxla pour ñu lefin ko gis nga Gambia government ak the Gambia police fekk jëluñ the right actions ne ku break your confidentiality ku break sa confidentiality clause yi dañ laa tëj wala ñu jël la ñu lefin la lii dafa continuer di am mënuñoo am government boo xam ne suñ everything to do with the government is out on the internet is wrong ku la ne lii dafa right daf laa nax soo gisee government am at yenn level yoo xam ne foog ñu am lefin confidentiality because li ñoo deal with dafa sensitive mënuñoo jël nag nit ñi at that level country bi at that level fi mu nekk nii ñun amatuñ any confidentiality amatuñ anything that's classified lu nekk dañ koo jël génne ko because in the name of what democracy and whistleblowing loolu dafa rong man mënumaa liggéey ak kenn tamit koo xam ne Fatou Touré dafa jël personally attack ma saaga ma loolu is wrong loolu is called insubordination gis nga there is a difference between nga taxaw ne sa boss dafa def lu wrong lii ak nga taxaw di saaga sa boss di ko xas wala di ko wax loo xam ne si personal life am di ko attack that is insubordination that's insubordination te ñun fi mu nekk nii liñ gis bi Kurang génnee there's that guy Kurang ki génn from the Janneh commission mu wax dañ ko daaxa immediately so lu tax kii di Modou Camara ba léegi he's at social security def lu moo def what is the difference between Modou Camara of social security ak this guy Kurang at the Janneh commission ndax fi mu nekk nii Gambia tamit dañ am kuma bu am ndey ak kuma bu amul ndey lu tax kale mu mun a taxaw mu disrespect kenn ñu daxa ko kii taxaw di disrespect Manjang every day ñu bàyyi ko foofu noonu lan moo xew
waaw this social security
dañ am léegi social security dañ fa am kumba bu am ndey ak kumba bu amul ndey na lan la. And secondly man si argument yi yëpp maay dégg Fatou Touré man si argument yi yëpp maay dégg dégguma fenn fu gars yi fu staff yi social security waxee ne ñun we are fighting for the interest of the pensioners. We are fighting for the interest of Gambians. Xam nga lu ma dégg xam nga lu ma dégg
mama foog naa si petition bi ma gis according to petition bi ma gis foog naa ñu ngi wax ñu ngi ko accused of corruption and some other things, and then of course ñu ngi wax seen welfare. I just want to clarify loolu noonu, even though they are not it's evident that they are not saying anything about pensioners, which is very jaaxal na ñu bari, but I just want to bring out they're talking about different issues. They talked about per diem issue. They talked about I just want to clarify.
Fatou Touré gis nga man may nekk di first person koo xam ne Gambia dama organize a protest of the pensioners ñu génna tiye suñ kuuri kaani dem utali ji social security. Waaw may ko organize pensioners yëpp ne leen ne gis ngeen ñii dañ ñu yab yow driver yi nga xeexal pour ñu jox leen sukur. What about pensioner bi nga xam ne every month dafa dox 2-3 times ngeen toppaan ko xaalis bi ñëwangut yéen a ngi xaar overdraft bi pour ñu fay ko pour ñu mun koo fay xaalisam. Pensioner boobu na kooku amul right na kooku importantut yow da nga nekk social security yow kan nga liggéeyal foofu at least driver bi mu ngi am salaire. Pensioner boobu noonu dafa dox and I can tell you from people ñoo xam ne ay pensioners ñoo xam ne every day every month dañoo dox ba sonna xëj na $1,000 bu ndaw boobu ñuy dem receive dinañ si dox ay 200-300 yëpp dinañ ko fay pass pour jot rek si $1,000 boobu pour seen famille. Ñooñu amuñ voice pour wax ñooñu nekkuñ di wax moo tax ñooñu ñu jël seen issue tegee leen boor. Gis nga system change dafa metti Fatou Touré. System change dafa ñëw with changes. man de gisanguma fu ñu waxee ne jël na xaalis si pensioners yi mu ne pensioners yi duñ leen fay. mu ngi def loo xam ne dafa reform that institution pour mu more responsive to the people ñoom war a respond to. Ñun taxpayers yi fayuñ suñ xaalis pour yóbbu nit Màkka nañ waxante dëgga fayuñ suñ xaalis pour jël ko di ko joxe sukuri ndogu. Ñun Gambian workers yi fayuñ suñ xaalis. Gis nga waa maa ñi ñaane mu génn ko may duma wax.
maa ñi dama ko bëgg a block maa ñi ñaa dama ko bëgg a block billaay dama ko bëgg
no seriously Fatou Touré the Gambian taxpayer the Gambian worker is not paying their salary. The Gambian pensioner is not paying their salary pour yóbbu nit Màkka. The Gambian taxpayer is not paying their salary pour jox nit sukuri ndogu. The Gambian taxpayer is not paying their taxes pour yóbbu nit Rome. Loolu du suñ concern. Xam nga luy concern di taxpayer. Nga pension nga dem foofu noonu ñu woogal la out ñu fay la sa xaalis. Ñun from a personal experience with social security. Man maa ngi toppa suma kayiti kër with social security léegi 10 years. Ci loo xam ne fay naa ko ba pare de. Maa ngi ko toppa. At MRC level because seen data entry bi was just rubbish. Seen data entry bi was just rubbish. Te loolu ma mun naa la ko wax. Ñun at MRC.
I'm not experience. I have an experience as well, yeah.
Ñun at MRC dañ am pour am a separate data entry clerk boo xam ne the only thing lu data entry clerk boobu doon def mooy mu tabulate every end of month mu tabulate on Excel sheet payments yi ñu def yëpp on behalf of the MRC staff. Gis nga every year dañ dee am pour print suñ own statements from ñun suñ database bi jox ko suñ staff yi ñu yóbbu loolu ñu dem verify ko and with the data entry at the social security. And you know what they find, Fatou Touré? You know what they find? Seen data entry bi du musa accurate. Loolu from a personal level nekkul ne dama la accuse de. Ñi nekk MRC di ma déglu xam nañ bu baax liñ ma wax. We had to create our own database. Every year ñu jox suñ workers yi a statement from suñ database bi pour ñu mun a am the correct ñu mun a am the correct living statement of lan lañ fay pour ñoom at social security. Gis ngeen nañ leen waxante dëgga. Suñ xaalis yi nekk social security that money should have been used pour ñu improve the life of pensioners in that country. That money has to be used to improve the lives of pensioners in that country. te Mambouri Njie mi nga xam ne moom mooy di finance line ministry ñu ngi ko wax ne ñun votuñ for a system change boo xam ne dañoo jëlati suñ problème yi di ko régler at ñu bypass board bi jël suñ problème yi di ko régler at presidential level and at ministerial level. Social security dafa am a board for a reason. Su daaxee Modou Camara should not be in that office because gis nga suñ strength nutee suñ parastatal si Yaya Jammeh nim ko breakee nim defee ba suñ parastatal si doxut loolu mooy
mama ma jaaxal maa ngi gis social media ñu ngi naan Modou Camara dañ ko daaxa and then I checked with social security, I checked with senior directors, and I checked because I'm working on a show. So if you say I'm not openly commenting on this issue, I'm working on a show with both parties. So I don't want to give my take right now. So don't want to comment. But I checked with I checked with senior director. Bimoko Gise on social media. I think I saw it with small brother Kabiro. And I checked with the social security, one of the directors, they were like, no, we don't know about it. I checked with Modou Camara Siboba Makolko, he was not aware. So, but I saw some
from the story, Bimagis, board we made the recommendation for New Dahako.
Yeah. Okay. You know what?
Like, again away.
Man, man block me. So
when a baby in the rap, baby in the rap, you were he like my son.
Like them baby.
Do axe. Why not? To be very honest with you, Fatou, support be at the Social Security Board, so the decision, that decision has to be respected. The minister cannot overturn that decision. The president cannot overturn that decision. We have to strengthen our institutions. We have to respect our institutions. We cannot continue running Jammeh-style government. You have the problem. Bu am dañ ko yobu State House. Foofu lañ ko dem fajije. Wala si ministry bi lañ ko dem fajije. Lolu du indi democracy, du indi change buñ buga. We have to be able to ñu taxaw ñu liggéey ñu understand ne ñëpp all the parastatals dañ am a board for a reason. Board boobu noonu suñ jëlee decision, that decision is final. Mënuñoo continuer nag di am ñun suñ institutions si suñ paree te sante bu ñoo am ñu ne na Barrow involved at State House ñun votuñ pour Barrow di involved in these kinds of things. We voted for these things to be institutionalized, for the institutions to be strengthened, pour ñu am a system change boo xam ne nit ñi dinañ accountable ñu liggéey. Tey Fatou Touré mun naa la wax ne a lot of pensioners sitting down ñoo xam ne ñu ngi jàbbante social security ñaata at am na ñoo xam ne ba dee nañ seen pension jotuñ ko. It's wrong. It's wrong. Gis nga soo toogoon fii nag ne ma Manjang dafa ñëw jël xaalis si pensioners yi nangu ñu fay pensioners yi nekkul di liggéey for the interest of the pensioners man maa njëkk a taxaw ne Manjang has to go waaye Manjang dafa ñëw suñ allowance si suñ tukki maaka yi suñ lii suñ lale nañ ko kot yéen moom yéen ñun mii liggéey ñun talu leen ñun mii def foofu noonu suñ savings xalaatu leen ne this year xaala ñu increase ku nekk ñu jox la 1% on li nga am foofu noonu on your savings ñu jox la ko as a on top of your money ñun loolu xalaatuñ ko. Ban at la social security gëj a fay suñ pensioners si lefin interest ban at ban at lañ gëj a fay suñ pensioners si interest dangaa gis ay pensioners yuy dox Banjul fukki lefin end of month balaa ñoo jot seen xaalis yi dinañ nekk di daw di dem di ñëw di daw di dem di ñëw yow $1,000 bi nga dem jëli pension 200 or 300 already fay nga ko paas fuñ ko wér pour ngeen toppaan ñu ne ñun suñ dem maakay suñ allowance si suñ lii suñ lale yéen driver bi ngeen a wax ne driver boobu noonu amut maalo wala amut sukur kooku noonu mu ngi am salary what about pensioner boo xam ne lam yaakaar gannaaw yàlla mooy xaalis bu ndaw bu moo jot kooku nag kooku kenn waru koo faale kooku kenn waru koo xeexal gis nga social security li ñoo wax waa fooñi yi loolu lañ leen di wax gis nga waa fooñi free electricity biñ doon enjoy
dinga sorox de dinga sorox de
xaaral ma dem ma jël ndox rek 1 minute ma ñëwaat ñu ko
boo toppee maa ñi ña dambeli mi boo ko toppee maa ñi ña dambeli boo ko toppee di nga sorox because du wax lu baax but this social security issue though the reason why I'm not commenting is because ñu ngi work on a show with both you know, the management and the others. We just want to, you know, let Gambians judge. We want to have the show and let Gambians. So I don't want to take any stance here and then at the end of the day the other person already will think ne dama ko judge bala on my show. So definitely munuma comment on this issue. I'm not able to comment on it because dama wara am a show on it. So for me to be able to speak to them freely, for them not to think I'm this on this other person's side, I have to be dama wara duma si wax ba after show bi su ma amee show ba pare then su boobaa dinaa mun a wax si loolu, but right now duma mun a wax on this issue. So loolu moo tax Mama Linguère moom mu wax si because I cannot, because maa ngi war am show next week and with Manjang, and then from there and talk to Modou Camara and team also. So until and unless ma wax ak ñooñu, I should not be able to comment on the show, because I don't want anybody coming to the show feeling like already this is her stance. So loolu moo xew waaye comme maama moom dawul coow, man moom damaa daw coow, man daw naa coow.
Fatou gis nga dëgg bi rek nañ ko wax. Gis nga waafoñ yi dañ leen ko wax ñu ne leen ne gis nga electricity, free electricity bi ngeen doon enjoy, free maalo bi ngeen doon enjoy, it's not loolu normalu toon time boobu noonu, because it wasn't being enjoyed by everybody else in the country. Social security tamit loolu lañ leen a wax rek, the perks that you were enjoying, the mecca trips, the loans and all of these things, loolu noonu was not normal, because it wasn't what the rest of the country were enjoying, and it was done at the backs of the poorest in the country, the pensioners, and it was done at the expense of ñi nga xam ne at the expense of ñi nga xam ne ñooñu ñoo waroon a ñëw, ñooñu lañ waroon a protect seen interest, understand nga. So lu ñu wax waa foo ñi rek ne leen ne li ngeen doon enjoy normalut, parce que ñeneen ñi enjoy leen ko, so yéen kenn rek waruñu leen see benefit. Loolu la ñoo wax tam waa social security rek ne leen
mama kañ nga dem foo ñi, kañ nga dem foo ñi boo fa ne social security lañ nekk, kañ nga jaala ba dem foo ñi. Mama Linguère doo dem. Laay doo dem.
No, why seriously, Factory. Social security, maa ngi ñaan staff yi nga xam ne ñoom at least am nañ déggin, understand nañ. You understand ne these loans and all of these things, yeneen ñiy liggéey si parastatal si ak ñeneen ñiy liggéey si government bi, civil servants si ak even yeneen organizations si nekkuñ di ko enjoy. So it's not something that's normal. It was abnormal. It was at the expense of ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk di fa def seen xaalis, ñuy jël seen xaalis di leen di ko use te nekkuñ woon di leen provide any service. Ñun suñ pensioners yi seen xaalis dafa war a dem towards their well-being. Dañ leen war a fay on time. Dañ war a increase sax ñu ne waaw am nañ profit ñu increase pensioners yi seen xaalis yi. Understand nga loolu dafa important because ñoom ñooy di bottom line. Soo xalaatee itamit ne ñun suñ réew ñooñu noonu mënuñoo taxaw ñu wax te ñooñu noonu mënuñoo taxaw ñu claim li nga xam ne moo nekk di xew si réew mi. Ñun we have to stand for them and say ne li ngeen nekk di def nii lii is not right. Suñ employé ku mel ni Jamal Mignas pour mu ñëw, man I don't know Jamal Mignas from Adam, suñ ko employé pour mu ñëw defar a database, man xam naa
Jamal suma boss la woon.
Database boobu noonu social security seen database boobu is flawed, because man am naa ñoom experience, man I was the deputy HR manager at MRC. Every year dañoo am problème social security in terms of data entry, ba mu jéega ñun ñoo jël suñ own data entry di ko def. Dañ jël suñ own data entry di ko def pour mun a joxe a correct lifin of what we were contributing. So ñii dañ war a understand ne lii mënut a
Mama, may 1 minute. Almame, sorry about that. She did not generalize. I think she was about to Kanila don Bugawa. I think she did not mean phone, entire phone. I think Kanilala don't bugawa. I'm sorry about that. Mama, continue.
ñoom xam nañ fi doon am free electricity moom itamit nañ bàyyi di jël benn wax rek bëgg a koo taawi ngir yàlla. But mom hamna fu don't am free electricity, and that's what we're saying there. Those things are privileges. They're not normal. The whole of the country was not enjoying free electricity. The whole of the country was not enjoying free rice. So lolo no privilege bo hamne la su change ñëwé change dafa mean ne foog ñu responsible ñu responsive to the needs of the people. And again, institution bu nekk dafa war a toog mu laajte what is my bottom line, man kan interest am laa fi toogal dama fi toog pour man suma interest na dama fi toog pour interest nit ñi.
Yes.
dégg nga na dama fi toog pour interest nit ñi so definitely dama foog ne ñun dañ war a make sure ne ñu wax waa social security ne lii was a privilege boo xam ne it wasn't normal. lii was a privilege boo xam ne it's not normal and it's something loo xam ne foog ñu génnee ko ñu indi système boo xam ne data entry bi dina correct ñu indi systems yoo xam ne social security dina respond to the needs of the people. ñu indi système yoo xam ne dinañ am accountability in that organisation mënuñoo continuer social security di collect all these millions ba pare di run an overdraft and all of these things it's not right. It's just not right. mënuñoo toog social security presidency bi di laajte ñuy jël xaalis di ko jox wala di fund ay ñi dem Maka and whatever di dem Rome and all of these places. That's not what the pensioners' money should be used for. Pensioners' money should be used for the welfare of the pensioners. So pensioners. So definitely, definitely we need to do better, and we need to. I think the workers, they understand. You try, you understand the change when it comes. Sometimes it's painful, like I said. Sometimes they lose the benefit. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is nahiyan and ligay for the interest of the people, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, man, this is a security issue. I'm the new one that you know that show me that you want to GRTS instead of anybody on the show. But I think you are young points you raised very valid points because definitely like any other institution, social security, every institution wanna to look after their staff, their welfare. Because if you don't look after their welfare, obviously, but that should not priority, but definitely as social security, as pensioners, more for the welfare of pensioners, the want to make a priority first to them before any other thing. So I think it's important. Points you raise me important na. Man nag mënuma say xuus angum xam naa ne su ma defee show yi ba pare dinañ si gën a xuus fekka ñëw nañ wax nañ and then sort ne wax nañ loolu. But I think it's
no,
a
but
very,
just
very
like I said, ñi comment am na ñu bare ngee wax ne waaw I spoke about phone, but what I'm saying, and I think a lot of people understand, I wasn't generalizing, and I meant ne canning lie bi nga xam ne it's in phone, and that's where everybody was getting rice, free education, free electricity, and all of these things. That was a privilege boo xam ne it wasn't normal because dafa unfair sa for the rest of the phonies ak ñeneen ñi nekk si yeneen dëkk yi. CNN, CCB, they were not enjoying the same thing. So privilege, of course, suñ ko jëlee dafa métti waaye dafa nekk loo xam ne have this discussion, like you said, but I think the social security.
So I'm just gonna have to leave soon. Mama, I wish you could continue. Dafa am audio buñ ma yónni foog ma déglu ko after. Waaye dama war a dem suma doom bi tam graduation am bi. So
no, don't why no, this the only thing that we should be saying, and I hope the people at Social Security they understand factory change is painful, and when change comes, sometimes they lose some of your privileges. Like the people of Canning lose free electricity and free water and all of these things because it wasn't because funding by because it wasn't something loo xam ne it's normal, understand nga.
Yeah.
So definitely the social security people as well, dem ñu laa fay nga dem Maka nga tidda fa ñu laa fay allowances whilst you're at Maka wala at Rome, ñuy joxe maalo sukur and everything. That's not normal. That was a privilege boo xam ne su fekkee ne it's not reflecting on the books, su fekkee ne yéen a ngi run an overdraft to be able to sustain that lifestyle, then dafa mean ne yéen a ngi live above seen means yi, understand nga, and that's not right. So we have to come up with cuts. We have to come up with fiscal discipline. We have to come up with institutional reforms yoo xam ne dina make suñ parastatals yi ak suñ government be responsive to the needs and the aspirations of the people. Loolu dafa important torop factory. So maa ngi ñaan waa social security ñu déglu maa xel comme que man dama joxoon Halifa suma noppa bu bon bi, ñoom buñ ma jox seen noppay bon yi nañ ma jox seen noppay baax yi, déglu ma bu baax si lu maa wax, ñu understand ne you cannot resist these things. Gis nañ bi ku mel ni Ibrahima Silla bi mu ñëwee GRTS, the kind of reforms he's able to make in such a short period of time. Su staff yi tamit génnoon ne dañoo protest ne Ibrahima Silla daf leen ne ñu ñëw liggéey si time bi, ñu wàcca time bi, waruñoo def lii kon dafa métti.
Shit.
dafa am ku bëgg a duga wax Fatou da nga ko war a may mu duga di bonk moom
No, it has nothing to do with. No, it has nothing to do with this. It's some conversation. I think some former president, a guy, sent conversation. People are. I don't know how people.
Yeah,
I'm scared of this country, Mama. I'm scared. You talk to people, they record you. They take these recordings and they send it. Like, I'm scared. It's scary. It's really scary.
And it's very bad. And this is where I talk about confidentiality as well. Dafa am yoo xam ne we have to start looking at it now, because suñ ko bàyyee mu continuer lii mun naa ëpp loxo. Gis nañ people léegi in the name of democracy nga def woy di saaga ndey, nga def woy di wax lu jigéen yu ñaaw yooyu noonu yii la Public Order Act bi war a jóg taxaw si, understand nga, ñu xam ne there are certain things yoo xam ne it's just not right. So definitely I think ne when we get to that, next week we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But maybe next week we'll talk about that. But I believe ne Fatou Rene, democracy dafa am rights and responsibility, and right now ñun ñu ngi abuse this democracy. We are not doing it right, and I think ne su fekkee ne mun nañoo daaxa ku mel ni Kurang at the commission, then they should also fire somebody like Camara at Social Security. Yëfi kumba bu amul ndey kumba bu am ndey bii nii duñ ko mun a continuer in New Gambia. ñu nekk di kenn def li ñu daaxa kii keneen def li ñu bàyyi fa ko ku noonu continuer di ko support muy gën a def lii nii. The Social Security so demee ba look into the issues di nga gis ne Fatou xëy na su investigation si demee ba sori am na names yoo xam ne maa ngi koo dégga even former government officials yoo xam ne ñu ngi jël loans at Social Security, ñu ngi jël xaalis from Social Security, which is not right. So all of these things ñu ngi ñoom itamit ñu ngi push ci ron pour Camara gaay bi ñu ko push pour ñu mun a daaxa Manjang pour ñu mun a stop foofu noonu corruption beeg yooyu noonu yëpp mu continuer si. We cannot allow that. ba pare lii su xewee ñu baro jox présidence ñu daaxa Manjang. Know that all the other parastatals as well ku nekk mun naa jóg rek ne man suma manager ñun suñ director bi bëgguñ ko dañ koo daaxalu by force. So insubordination dafa am definitely, and I think insubordination we have to be.
A lot of managing directors are worried. I spoke to a couple of them. They're worried about that because somebody can just go ahead and ñoom tam ñu jóg ñu ne comme di xew na rek ñun tam suñ managing director dañ bëgg mu dem, and then that can happen. So I think the government needs to look at this critically, and then you said naka go waaye maama dama suma doom bi dafa graduate léegi nag dama daw. Mommy duties now. So my stepdaughter is graduating. Hey, I just want to. So I have to.
Family is important. So demal si bobu. Then next week ñu tago guy. Next week inshallah.
Next week we have to. Yeah. Next week we can talk. I think next week dina fekk sax def na recording see. So we will talk more about the social security issue because I think it's something loo xam ne war nañ see gën a mun a waxtaan. So after next week after the recordings ñu gën a waxtaan ci social security bi, and of course government officials leaking official documents is something loo xam ne war nañ see waxtaan. These are confidential. am na some shows yoo xam ne am na shows am na documents yoo xam ne they are classified documents. America yaa ngi dégg loolu every day, so people doing these kind of things, it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
That would show number 2. Mune lawsuits look great on you, Fatou Touré. Mom, that will show si benn bor mom Empress.
Mom, xam nga kii dama ko bëgg a tongo.
Kontaan nañ.
Empress dama ko bëgg a tongo because dafa ma toroxal, dafa ma gitin. Dafa ma gitin.
Mungo, so guys, inshallah ñu joxe dig daje next Friday. Like we said, fi mom duñ daw ciow. Fatou Touré su dawee ciow sa man duma daw ciow. Dañuy ñëw wax ko si digga bi. Ñun lu gaay di wax. Ñun si digga bi la ñuy jaar. Waaw. Amut ragal.
Allahu akbar lii. So mama
Yusu na naka. Loolu nga boobu nag nga war di teg naka la Yusu wax sax mu am xal safara duma daw.
boobu ban la di.
mooy Youssou Ndour boobu noonu bi mu dee wax ne ñu si digg bi foofu lay jaar mu am xal safara duma daw. moo école.
mama dawal coow man tayi coow rek lay daw tayi coow rek coow lay daw tayi fu coow def nii ma def nii.
But yeah, but next week inshallah.
Next week inshallah.
Daam dem wax na ba soona fi mu nekk nii léegi mu ne viva ladies ñu ngi lay nuyu daam dem.
daam dem ma ne gis naa ko mu ngi comment rek man moo tax ma ne daam dem mii waaye maa ngi ñaan dama bëgg a block dama bëgg suma paree ñu wax ma naka lañ dee bloqué nit man xaw ma naka lañ dee bloqué but maa ngi dem dama ko bëgg a block from Kerr Fatou for life. dama ko bëgg a block.
Well, definitely thank you to everybody, thank you to ñëpp ñoo xam ne ñoo doon déglu. Like we said, next Friday itamit rek ñu ñëw naka suñ joxoñee rek ñun ñu laal du noonu Fatou Touré.
waaw pare next week boro dafa dem meet the people's farmer store so boobu tam dinañ si gën a wax so bugguma nga door bàyyi boobu next week rek.
waaw baax na next week inshallah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Empress bye ma. Empress bye ma. Mane, ngo first lady le, Fenda, first lady le. Xam nga man suma dee ut interview. Xam nga onko Ousainou suma dee ut interview lan laa ko dee wax. Ni ma interview dina me Alima Taale bulle de. Saa yoo ko waxee waruma wax sa suma secret bi balaa gaay di dégga. Suma ko waxee loolu rek mu jox ma interview. So nit ñi dañ ma dee laaj, why do you always get interview from him? Loolu laa ko dee wax. Ni ma interview dina me Alima Taale bulle. Saa yoo ma ko waxee loolu rek mu jox ma interview. So Alima laa dee use as my Hey, why guys? I think
why like we said ñu ngi jégalu nag suñ fi waxee dara loo xam ne bu leen ñu dee jox noppa bu bon bi dee ñu jox noppa bu baax bi léegi-léeg ngeen jégal ñu waaw wala ngeen jëlale yéenay du noonu xam rek ne mutuñ so ñu waaw sax ka waa social security xam naa ñoom moom suba ma déggati xay
acca rek man Banjul laa dëkka man fu mu ne nii Banjul laa dëkk
maa fa am nag xarit bu baax benn jànxa boo xam ne definitely I have to tell you this story Fatou Touré moom mu ngi liggéey social security and dama fa dem xaw ma ko xamuma waaye ma dem fa pour toppatoo suma yëfi kayit bi like I said suma kayit bi dama ko nekk léegi di toppa 1 year ba xaw ma 10 years ba léegi maa ngi toppa suma kayiti kër gi and I went into her office dinaa ut turam parce que maa ngi dencoon turam somewhere and she was very professional definitely so dinaa ut turam ma wax ko and I feel ne that's how it should be fi mu nekk nii they're responding to the needs of the people ñu ngi jóg di def seen liggéey te loolu lañ war a def waaye definitely suñ perks yi suñ privileges yi suñ nii na ko gaay wàññi ñu work towards a better institution for the pensioners because ultimately the pensioners ñoom seen interest moo war a ñëw first definitely in all honesty and all jokes aside seen interest dafa war a ñëw first suma brother Fanding Ndiaye mu ngi maa wax parce que ba mu nekkee embassy di contribute of course ñun ñoo daan seen xaalisam bi to social security so definitely Wow, na seen record si ba léegi correct na or not, but ñun like I said MRC we kept our own record, so funding some xaalis bi is safe. You're okay. It's very safe inshallah dina baax.
Very, very safe. Ah, de pare am na ñu ma laajte fii next week inshallah suñ new show bi di brunch is going to premiere. So dama war na tukki sax waaye loolu moo gënoon a tax ñu lii ko next week. Ba pare nag Keba Kaba Kacha gars yi yëpp maama nit ñi ñoo garaaw waxtaan boobu ma ko fooyee man leen show bu es bi waxtaani mag Keba Kacha xam nga boobu boori 11 lañ koo def léegi nag fu ma jëm ñu ne ma Keba Kacha lee Keba Kacha lee léegi xam nga loolu façon show boobu maa ko bëggoon a def waaye léegi dama si bëgg a génna ut kenn ku jonge mu def ko because xam nga damaa bañ ñu xàmmee ma soo foog ma ut keneen.
waaw non Fatou doo mën a def boobu. Fatou doo mën a def boobu moom utal keneen mu.
because boobu du baax.
waaw definitely thank you di nuyu di wax rek ñëpp ne definitely next Friday inshallah dinañ dugaat si beneen. waaw as usual rek dinañ joxoñ laal du noonu.
waaw dinañ joxoñ laal waaw dëgg la de dinañ yow kay yaay joxoñ man fu mu ne nii damay ngorosi rek daw. All right guys, thank you Empress, thank you Omar Bun, thank you everyone.
Hadi Konte waaw war nañ ko seet de Hadi Konte dinañ war a mun loolu wax na dëgga.
yow Hadi mun na ko
waaw wax nga dëgga.
I think loolu war nañ seet Hadi Konte war na mun na
kontaagal Hadi Konte waaw.
wara xale bu bon bi Empress ja xale bu bon bi. All right guys, thank you. Good night mama kon ñu wax si kanam. All right, thank you.
Bye bye.